Hi all, I'm Waldemar. Welcome to Better Your Chess, lesson number 25. The most fundamental chess knowledge, square control. So in this lesson, I want to talk about one of the most fundamental laws that govern our game, square control. Now, in order to win a game of chess, you somehow need to break the balance. If the balance is not broken at the end of the game will be declared a draw, right? The goal in chess is to mate the opponent's king. To do that, you have to destroy the opponent's army first. In that case, you will have more attackers than your opponent will have defenders, and mating the enemy king becomes a real possibility. Now, in order to break this balance and win a game of chess, then at a certain moment in time during the game, we need to have a stronger army than our opponent. And in chess, you have a stronger army when you control more squares than your opponent. Now, how can we go about getting superior square control? Superior square control can be obtained in two ways. First of all, there is the quantity of the pieces, also known as material, and this means that you will have more pieces than your opponent, or that you will have stronger pieces than your opponent. The second method of getting superior square control is in the quality of the pieces, also known as activity. And this means that you will have pieces in better positions when compared to your opponent's pieces. And if we scale this up from bad to good, this can mean that you can have a piece either on the edge of the board, where it's not very helpful, or a piece that is controlling the center, or even a piece that is situated in the center, or ideally that you will have a piece on or targeting your opponent's half of the board. Okay, let's look at a quantity example. This example is about the number of pieces. In this diagram, White has one bishop, and with that bishop he controls 13 squares. Black, however, has 0 pieces and controls 0 squares. Obviously, White is much better off in this diagram. If we go to quantity example 1.2, and we're still looking at the number of pieces, then in this case we can see that White has still the one bishop and controls 13 squares, but now Black also has one piece, a bishop, and also controls 13 squares. So in this case you could say that there is an equality in the position. Let's go on to quantity example 1.3, number of pieces. White has 2 bishops and all of a sudden controls 22 squares, but Black still has the one bishop and controls 13 squares. The yellow squares are squares that are controlled by both sides. Okay, so that was a quantity example about the number of pieces. In this diagram we have a quantity example about the strength of pieces. To start off with, White has one knight and controls 8 squares. Black has 0 pieces and controls 0 squares. However, in the 2.2 example, White still has the one knight and controls 8 squares, but now Black has one rook and controls 14 squares all of a sudden. So both sides have one piece, but one piece is stronger than the other. In this case, the rook is stronger than the knight, and we see this reflected in the number of squares that is controlled. Okay, let's quickly revisit the nominal values, the strength of the pieces. I'm pretty sure that you're all very much acquainted with this list. The pawn is normally worth 1 point, the knight is 3 points or pawns, the bishop's worth is 3 to 3.5, the rook is worth 5, and the queen is worth 9 to 10 points. And sometimes in this kind of lists you also see the king coming up, and we can normally appoint 4 to 5 points fighting power to the king